Hello, I'm Patrick Reames with Comtech Advisory. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Leaders in CTRM Technology. Today's episode is going to be with Mr. Manav Garg, founder and CEO of ECA, a global scale producer of ETRM, CTRM, and CM solutions. You'll want to stick around. Hello, I'm Patrick Reames with Comtech Advisory. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Leaders in CTRM Technology. Today we're visiting with Mr. Manav Garg, CEO and founder of ECA. Manav, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Patrick.
So let's just get started. ECA was one of the earliest ETRM, CTRM, CM providers to identify the advantages of moving to a platform approach in which buyers could, via ECA's cloud platform, create a best fit solution that meets their unique needs. I've noticed you've been expanding the breadth of your capabilities recently with new solutions for treasury management and ESG. What can you tell us about those and any others that you might be working on?
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Yes, we have been around a while, and I think we were the first company to realize the value of cloud. If you remember, in 2016 onwards, that's right, when we launched, analytics layer, and then over a period of time, now the full platform, which is a cloud platform, which covers the entire value chain. So I still believe, given the pandemic, I think the need for having a cloud system for CTRM is paramount now. In fact, you can't live without one. You imagine if you're 10 people company, traders, back office, logistics, finance, all have to work together on a same contract, and you're working from home or cafes, or sometimes you can come to office. That to international trading, I think a cloud system is imperative. So I think I would say that is number one. So that remains our core focus, to provide CTRM on cloud to the energy and commodities industry. Now, while we were on this journey, and we have today more than 100 global customers, from the likes of Cargill, Twin Eagle, Tyson Foods, Kraft Heinz, and many more such customers, and in mining, Rio and Vale. What we have done is we've also studied the needs of these companies, that in addition to CTRM on cloud, what are the other adjacent systems that they need, which are still kind of on-premise, or I would say an old technology. So one, of course, is natural adjacency is FX management. Given the international nature of the business, whether you are doing the sourcing from international locations, or you are buying and selling, or you are a producer, there's always FX risk that is involved. That's how our interest was to provide a full end-to-end cash and liquidity management to the companies. And on top of it, pandemic, everybody went back into doing homework and understanding how the cash is looking like at any given point in time. So that has gained significant importance. On the other side, we also saw that the companies in manufacturing, energy, commodities, and across the border is now talking about sustainability. ESG reporting is almost becoming mandatory in many countries based on the frameworks that GNDP and others have suggested, country by country, or framework by framework. So we also automating the entire ESG reporting, which is a non-financial reporting for the CFOs, and also helping chief sustainability officers meeting their carbon emission and zero emission goals. So that's where the platform has expanded. So today, therefore, we provide end-to-end solution which can help CTRM, which is primarily focused on trading, logistics, and risk. We do provide solutions for treasurer, which is on the treasury side. We have a solution on hedge accounting and compliance for financial controllers and compliance officers, and then we have a solution on sustainability for sustainability officers.
Great. I know you guys have been busy recently. I know a couple of months ago we were visiting, and you had mentioned that you'd seen growing interest, very strong and growing interest across really all commodities, all markets, all regions. Has that trend continued since we last spoke, and are there specific markets that ECA has been particularly successful in recently?
Yeah, I think, yes, in general there is, and Patrick, being in the industry for such a long time, I think commodity cycle is an up cycle. Companies are making money, the market is volatile, so there is a need for a system. So therefore, we're seeing a broad-based interest. But in the last 6 months, I would say I've seen a lot of interest coming from the US specifically. The gas markets, as you know, has been on the fire.
Right.
So that market has really opened up. We are seeing huge amount of interest coming from agri and mining as well. So the US market actually has been seeing the most amount of interest in the last 6 months' time.
Yeah, yeah. Given the current issues that we're seeing in the global commodities and product supply chain, we see at Comtech risk management, analytics, and supply chain integration is increasingly key capabilities for anybody that operates in these markets. Are you seeing increased demand for these capabilities as well, and are they areas that you're continuing to invest in?
Yeah, so supply chain is the key to commodities. If you look at during the entire pandemic, I think companies, I'm talking about end user companies like Cargill, Unilever, Cofco, and many such companies did an incredible job in making sure the supply chains are not disrupted, right? Their employees worked in factories and plants and trucks to make sure that the basic commodities are reaching to the consumers. So I think, so therefore there is a massive need for integrated supply chain, and that's where ECA is the best today. So all the customers that we have, most of them use our integrated supply chain applications to see end-to-end planning. If there's a disruption, what are the alternate sources they can get? If logistics is going wrong, what are the alternative methods they can use? And more importantly, keeping the entire organization on a single paradigm uh, helps companies plan their supply chain very, very well. And to extend that theme, we also launch our e-sourcing solution where you can now connect to your suppliers and your customers online, so that you can see demand and supply a little bit more in real time than you would otherwise. So it is the core theme. The commodity trading and risk and compliance is one hand, but integrated supply chain is the key need for the companies. Absolutely.
Right, right. Okay. Looking forward in this marketplace and choose your horizon 3, 5, 7 years, where do you see the market for CTRM technologies in general evolving, and more specifically, what do you see for ECA in terms of your capabilities, your product offerings, your technology base, et cetera? How do you see this market shaping out, and how does ECA fit into that market?
I think that I'll answer this question in two parts. For the core mission critical CTRM system, I think you will see greater adoption. In the past, when I started 17 years back, we could still see a lot of small and medium companies still on the spreadsheets. I think that's going to go away. So my first view is that there will be a far more wider adoption of the core CTRM system among small to medium enterprises. Of course, cloud allows you to deliver that value at a much lower price point than they ever did, right? In the past, if you remember, a CTRM system will cost you no less than $500,000 total cost of ownership.
Right.
But today you can buy, 100,000 a year or even $80,000 a year. So I think that is one thing which will happen over the next 5 years. Because there's general more adoption of technology all across, and so I think that's one trend. Second trend is I think supply chain will continue to get more and more integrated. So as you said in the previous question, I think integrated supply chain will be the mandatory in the system. I think without that, just the value of trading a risk is going to reduce a little bit. It won't go away, it will remain important, but I think having integrated supply chain in the software is going to be extremely, extremely important, because that's where the market is going, that's where the business need is. And number three, I think sustainability and the climate risk will come the key. And I think the companies in the commodities area are in the forefront of that wave, or shaping up that narrative. If you look at the companies like Rio Tinto, Vale, Cargill, Twin Eagle, and Shell, and all those companies, they're changing their strategy, having a sustainable planet, sustainable growth, sustainable energy requirements, sustainable agriculture, sustainable mining is going to be the key theme for the companies to come forward. I think that will get more and more dominated as we go look 5 years down the line.
Right, right. Well, great, great. I very much appreciate your time, Manav. It's been very interesting. I appreciate the update.
Thanks, Patrick. Always pleasure talking to you.